Tourism and hospitality play a huge role in our state's economy, and a key part of that is the wedding industry. 2020 was on track to be the most successful year yet for Maine's wedding industry. Then COVID hit, and business came to a standstill. 2 years later, those in the industry say they're still building back what they lost financially, and with a possible recession on the horizon, they're keeping their eyes locked on the future. Samantha spoke to caterers, photographers, DJs, boutique and venue owners last year to hear about the impact of COVID. A year later, she sat down with them again.
I think boom year is not the best way to describe it. I think it was a great year, not a great year, because we were still covering everything from 2019 that fell into 2020. And 2020 moved to 2021, which caused everything to look like a boom year in 22, but it really wasn't, because there was new work with old work. I think we'll see it, the reality of stabilizing in the industry for weddings, 24, to be honest with you.
And this year, then, we struggled with, even though we were fully open, rising prices, a really tight labor market, availability issues. I know from a catering perspective, making sure we were working with all our vendors. There were restrictions on getting products, and I know, Courtney, we were just talking about that, on how long it was taking to get things. Lead times were much longer. So we were dealing with some of those issues.
Does that make you guys concerned, I guess, for the future in general?
Of course.
Yeah.
You don't go back once you increase wages.
Absolutely, right there.
There's no return to anything more economical. So as a business, I mean, if you want to employ and if you want to employ quality, you have to adapt. And
minimum wage, what's that? That doesn't exist.
You have to make changes to your business in order to compensate, because you can't lose your bottom line, you can't lose your margins, so you have to get really creative.
And ultimately, all that gets passed on to the client, to the customer. Really, as things like staffing goes up, you have to charge more.
Were they hesitant to book things because they just didn't know things anymore?
No, it was the guests that were more.
It was like they were more avid to jump on something right away to get the vendor team that they wanted. Even down to how the weddings played out, I just felt like it was, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but stripped back a little bit, more focus on the party part and less on, the formalities, the pomp and circumstance.
So the last time we spoke, there was, again, a lot of frustration around just kind of how things had been tackled. Are those frustrations, are any of them still there, or has everybody just kind of moved on from what was happening?
For us, everybody's moved on, I think. And I will say that DECD and Heather Johnson and her team.
And the governor's office were wonderful.
Really did.
They stepped up.
Listen to us and help figure out ways to reopen in 2020 and 21 that worked for everybody, and I appreciate that. And I don't think we ever acknowledged that publicly, but thank you to them for really trying to make it work.
Because they saw us as an industry, not just a footnote in Maine's economy. And that was really important to us, because we do bring in $1 billion as a collective group. And that was being forgotten because the hospitality industry was being sought. But we've got to keep in mind that if we bring in weddings, they are staying at hotels, they are eating at restaurants. It is a pebble in a pond. It just trickles, and it's trickling off of us. So that $1 billion is also feeding into these other $4 billion, because Maine brings in $5 billion in tourism. So we're part of that. And so we wanted to just be acknowledged. And I think that was our frustration at the beginning.
And they did.
And they did acknowledge us.
But I do think people were happy to be back together.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that was a big trend, is that people were just happy to be able to be together and celebrating finally,
We're seeing a lot of smaller, more intimate events, but on weekdays. And it feels good, because it feels like it's important to them, and they're grateful that they can bring people together. And having not been able to be together, I feel like it's bringing more events in general, more weddings, more kind of connection.
It's funny because the rest of the world celebrates it. There are weddings that happen Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. So it's new here, but it does happen in European countries. So we're just now catching on to that.
And some of that's kind of driven by the supply chain problems. Like every other industry, weddings are feeling the supply chain issue, where you can find a venue for next year, but good luck finding cups or plates or rentals or tables or anything else to fill in them.
Or cater.
And so, so people are feeling that, and they're having to move to other dates.
When you don't have access to things that you need, what do you do?
we
Get
call each other.
creative.
And so and basically what we do is we share. Like if I'm busy, I'll send somebody to Sarah's team. And if she's busy, she'll send, and sort of the same thing. And the reality of it is, can you change your date to Sunday, or can you do it on Friday so we can accommodate? And that really is where you need to be, because if you have not booked it yet, you now have to look at the weekday or the Sunday. And that's reality, because you're not going to be able to find everything that you need.
Yeah, and then when you can find it, it's much more expensive. But at that point, you're, a week before an event. You just have to work through it and hope that. But it is making us have to plan out much further in advance on ordering and making sure that we're relooking at things in our menus and knowing what we need, and specialty items we're having to order way in advance and just carry the inventory.
And it just kind of speaks to the point that Fausto mentioned and Sarah mentioned about needing to rely on the industry. We're competitors, but we're friendly competitors, and you have to go back to that well to just get the job done, because couples don't care if you have family problems going on. This is the most important day for them. They don't even care if this is your 4th wedding in a row and you're fried. You have to give it 100%, and every wedding's a Super Bowl.
To learn more about COVID's impact on the Maine wedding industry, just head to the 207 section of our website or mobile app.